take a look at another game that'll be tonight at 7 o'clock. ACC Network Extra, that is Wake Forest and NC State, the Wolfpack. The path for the double bye is pretty simple. They control their own destiny. So win against Wake and on Sunday against Pitt, and they're in. But of course, we have to see what they're able to do tonight. And Liz, a lot of that has to do with how they're moving the ball.
They did that so much better in their last game against Syracuse. They relied a lot less on one-on-one, and they made better decisions in transition. Zoe Brooks could have gone down here and tried to go one-on-one. She did that a few times in the past. Instead, kicks it out. Zam Jones has an opportunity. Instead of trying to shoot over Isajay, she passes it off. Tilda Trigger gets the finish. Now again, I thought they responded really well to Syracuse's zone. They started the second quarter in this 2-3 zone look. Instead of going right away, they pass the ball around, eventually get the ball back to the top, and they feel like Camille Pierre now has an opportunity to attack. Instead of forcing this shot, it's an inside-out pass to a wide-open three. Zam Jones able to knock that down. They shot a better percentage than their season average in this game, and that's why. Another look against the zone, Syracuse in this 2-3. They're up a little bit high here. Zam Jones has the opportunity to attack middle, dish it off to Camille Pierre right there to get the finish. She could have shot a floater, but she didn't. She passed it off, finished with 8 assists. Again, another look here, Zoe Brooks coming off this ball screen, recognizes that Syracuse's defense is standing up and they're so high. Zam Jones has this cut on the backside to get this layup. She could have shot it, but no, instead of shooting over Isajay, creates the angle, hits Pierre, and gets the wide open layup. Really impressive job for them. I thought they turned down shots that they were taking previously, instead created for other players. Instead of having 5 assists like they did in their last game, they ended up with 15.
Yeah, they passed the ball so much better against Syracuse. I'm watching those clips. If I'm Syracuse, I don't think I'm playing zone against Notre Dame. I wouldn't. I think Hannah Hidalgo, the way she can attack you, and Notre Dame's got shooters everywhere, I would stay away from that zone. I think NC State kind of found the kryptonite to that one.
Downtown Raleigh, the epicenter of ACC chaos last week of the regular season. Now Wake Forest is in the tournament. Big week for Megan Jebbia's program. NC State, they're battling for big fish. A top 4 spot in this loaded ACC and senior day here inside Reynolds Coliseum. First, we sit in this loaded conference. Top 3 have solidified themselves, but the race for 4th is wide open. A 5-team race, and we see Wake Forest in the tournament, which is big time. And a fun Thursday night for college hoops. Thanks for joining us here in Valvano Arena with the coach, Derek Jordan, Evan Budrovich. NC State coach Westmore challenged his young team with no seniors to play tough, battling adversity. Nice bounce back Sunday in the win over Syracuse, and a real test these next 2 games.
It was a huge win for NC State on Sunday. They needed it to get back in the top 4 of the ACC. They're fighting for that double bye in the ACC tournament. These last 2 games, they've got to bring the intensity they brought on Sunday in order to get 2 wins and put themselves in that position when they go to Georgia.
Wake's lost 12 straight in this series, and Grace Oliver's got a ball out for the Deacons tonight.
Oliver is a great fit for Coach Megan Jebbia's program. The former 4-star recruit is coming off perhaps her best game of the season, 24 points, 13 rebounds against BC. She can shoot the 3 at 40%, and she's very crafty around the rim. She's going to need a big game to help pull the upset for Wake Forest today. Meanwhile, for NC State, the all-everything forward, Camille Pierre, recently named to the late season watch list for Naismith Player of the Year. She's 3rd in the country in double-doubles, 7th in rebounding. Last time when they played Wake Forest, she had a season-high 26 points. Tonight, she looks to continue her hot streak in NC State's last home game of the year.
2 programs put in the finishing touches on pre-ACC action in the tournament. Everyone's going crazy tonight. Final home game in Reynolds, and we're ready for tip. Pierre and Opal Bird, let's get this party started in Raleigh. And the Wolfpack start with the basketball. Well, they bounced back impressively Sunday, but Westmore not pleased. He wants his team to play even better against Wake and Pitt here down the stretch.
Wake Forest starting in that 2-3 zone they've been playing the last few games.
Camille Pierre's doubled early inside to Trigger. And that zone causing trouble in the first possession. A miss inside. Trigger again. Good size advantage down low.
And that's one of the big challenges for Wake Forest tonight in that zone defense. It's harder to box out and keep NC State off the boards. NC State, such a good rebounding team.
Wide open, Aurora Sorby for 3. That's a bit off. Here's the starting five for Westmore. Caden Samuels, big minutes against Syracuse, and then Zam Jones, 8 assists in her last game. A good point guard here. Ball movement early against the zone defense. Everyone touching it for the Pack, including Samuels' three. That's off. Well, how does Wake Forest manage these rebounds as Trigger gets 4 quick points?
They are going to have to put a body on a body. They've got to get Trigger and Pierre out of there. NC State's guards don't crash that much, so really they've got to focus on those 2 posts.
Here's the Wake starting five for Coach Gebbia. Milan Brown's been fun. A young freshman point guard, 4 underclassmen in Wake's lineup tonight.
Milan really brings the energy for Wake Forest. She's the engine that makes them go.
She's the Thomas the Train in Winston-Salem, as they say. Sorby down to 6. Good outlet. Mary Carter, 3-point specialist, drives. That's no good. And Carter on the board. No true forward for Wake, but 5 guards that can really shoot it, spread the court, and a high assist team this year, almost 12 assists a game.
They really like to spread 5 out and then duck in with the post and try and surprise NC State a little.
Here's Oliver duck into the basket and a block for Sam Jones. She's not the biggest, but plays huge right there.
And it's a great job of help defense by NC State. That's been a problem in some previous games, but right here you see the help coming from Sam Jones. She gets the block. Even Zoe Brooks was cutting off the angle, making it difficult for Wake.
Sam Jones is 5'7". That's a big girl blocking the paint. Down to 2 on the clock. Nice hands, Samuels, and an open turnover. Coast to coast for Cadence, and the Pack are rolling over.
And we talked to Coach Gebbia at Wake Forest. She's trying to control the pace, limit NC State's transition offense, but turnovers like that are going to be killer for the Deeks tonight.
Wake in its first quarter Sunday came out firing. There's a 3 for Mary Carter, and that's how Wake's going to win this game.
Yeah, Carter, she's putting up 6 threes a game, a big number. She's an excellent 3-point shooter, and that's really their key to try and win, is to get a lot of threes tonight.
The Pack on this end getting a lot of clean looks against the zone. There's Pierre again.
And one of the keys to the game tonight is not settling for a 3-pointer against that zone. Keep pushing it inside, because that's where NC State's got the advantage.
No one touches Oliver. Wide open. Good ball movement there.
That was. You touched on it earlier. Wake Forest has excellent assist ratios and leading the league, 4th in the league in assists per game.
Another jumper, Pierre. A rare miss. Brown on the boards. Coach Gebbia challenged her guard. It's got to be a team rebounding game today. Milan back inside. Opal Bird, the opening touch for the Aussie. Can 4 underclassmen handle this big moment in Raleigh? Difficult place to play. And Wake's lost 12 straight in this series. Clock to 8. Sorby the shot fake. Aurora swings it. Oliver extra pass. Carter 3 is short. And a team battle. Look at Milan Brown in there. The shortest on the court. Brown again. Nice up and under.
Excellent finish from Milan. She's, as we talked about, she's the energy. She's what makes this team go. Coach Gebbia said she gets everybody going, and you saw it right there.
The Baltimore native is big time at only 5'8", but impressive. Pierre with a quick touch. Wake elects to double. Here's a steal. Sorby with numbers. Coach Gebbia said want to slow down the tempo against this aggressive fast break Wolfpack team and handle a quick 8-0 run to start the game.
Wake had a mismatch there they didn't take advantage of. Oliver was on Zam Jones underneath.
Brown short on the 3. Brooks the board. Fresh off her 2nd straight 20-point game. Here's Samuels. Tough lane. Pierre behind the back. Creative drive to the bucket.
Quite a move there. I don't know if she even meant to it. I think she lost control a little bit, but it looked like a fake behind the back pass, and Wake Forest was fooled.
Well, the double-double queen, 18 of those this year. She can do so much in the paint, can Camille Pierre. Look at this fight between Carter and Samuels in the paint. That's why Westmore got Samuels out of the portal from UConn for her defense, especially this time of year. Brown with 5. Forces one up. Outside Bird. Opal lost track of the clock. Violation. And you see the Pack speeding up Wake Forest late in the clock.
And we talked about NC State in the opening that the key to the game was to maintain their intensity. First on offense, you see Camille with the fake right there in the finish. Wake Forest was fooled. And then defensively, 30 seconds of intensity. If NC State can keep this up, they could win big tonight.
Sounds like a Peloton class. 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. A lot of pressure against this young Wake program. And here's a steal. Malon Brown pushing it. One of the more talented freshmen in the league. Swings it to Carter. Wide open. No good. Those are the looks Wake made in Raleigh. They hit 13 threes in the first matchup.
Right, and they were 7 for their first 7, so already a big difference in the second matchup.
That matchup in Winston, of course. Here's a 3 for Samuels, no good. Pierre again. She's a second chance queen down low.
She is just going to be a difficult matchup all night for Wake Forest, and I don't know that Coach Gebbia has the answer for her right now.
Malon Brown open for 3. And Wake is 1 of 6 from deep early. Well, step aside. Camille Pierre making a difference early, Derek.
Camille is doing an excellent job. She is owning the rebounds. She's going for the finish, and she's led NC State to a 5-point lead going into this first break.
Lead for NC State. Young core for Megan Gembia's program. Malon Brown's been excellent. 4 freshmen play a ton of minutes, but tonight, Derek, Caitlin Jones, a healthy scratch, unavailable. They hope to have her Sunday. This could disrupt some things given the freshman chemistry of this group.
And I'm sure that's hard on Caitlin. She's a Roseville, North Carolina native, so she's from right around here. But Malon Brown has really, you've seen her energy already. She scored 30 against UVA this year, so you know she's got talent. And we're seeing it tonight already. And
Opal Bird is the star freshman of that group, coming off a double-figure point game at Boston College. That win clinched a playoff spot for Wake. Devin Quigley checks in for NC State. Good steal by Bird. That was Megan Gembia's challenge. Can we get in passing lanes more today? It's been efficient early. Carter goes right back to Opal. Nice dish to Oliver. No real estate, and then turns and finds it.
She just created some space right there. Camille trying not to get the foul, sort of got pushed under the basket, turned into an easy scoop.
And like any good real estate agent, find Zillow and the glass. It always helps you in the paint.
Location, location, location.
Smart man. Back to a 3-point game. NC State led 8-0 early. Traeger's jumper is off. And a good board. Nice box out from Oliver down low.
And Wake's doing a great job of packing the paint, not really giving NC State any driving lanes. They're going to have to make some outside shots to loosen it up a little bit.
Deacons, though, just 1 of 6 from 3. That's in the DNA of a Megan Gebbia club. They'll make 9-10 threes a night. Here's a bad pass. And then Brooks hangs on to it. Zoe to the bucket. So good in the air, Zoe Brooks.
That's exactly what NC State needs. They need to get transition offense so they can attack before that zone sets up. Good bucket for Brooks.
Nice paint touch for Carter. Mary turns, and a bit short.
She is more of a 3-point specialist. If you can force her into contested 2s, that's a win for NC State.
Made 5 threes Sunday at BC. Sam Jones, who was a great assister on Sunday, goes to Brooks. Wolfpack missing a couple of jumpers here to close the quarter.
And NC State not crashing the boards the way they were in the first couple minutes. They've got to try and get extra possessions.
You feel the building a little quiet here with 2 minutes left. Wake Forest hanging around in the Pack's home finale. That's a bad pass. Here's Pierre, 3-on-2 to Jones. Oh, kicks it out of bounds.
That's one of those unforced errors right there. It was a 3-on-2, should have led to an easy shot. Instead, turnover and right back to Wake. Wake Forest
goes to its bench with Emily Johns checking in, the American transfer.
And they talked about controlling the pace, keeping the score down low, giving themselves a chance in the fourth quarter, sort of using that Rhode Island blueprint that was a game we saw way back in December.
How about Rhode Island? Just 1 loss in the A-10. They're an at-large participant this year. Really good season. So Johns is the lone senior on the court. A lot of young faces for both programs. Backdoor slip. Johns up top for 3. No good. So the Wolfpack are limiting threes for Wake. Can they hit their buckets inside? It's Quigley's turn. A miss again.
Quigley's been struggling from 3 this year, only at 20%.
Emily Johns has so much position, finally gets the rock, and that's how you feed a beast in the paint.
Wake Forest, great job at getting assists right there, and it was a tough pass, but great hands by Johns to get it, and then the easy finish.
While Traeger has the size, Johns could win some of those paint battles down low. That'll be a fun matchup, height versus physicality. And Traeger goes all skill, but off on the jumper.
Well, and Johns is a sixth-year senior. She's crafty. She's going to know how to get position.
Brown inside the Johns, blocked by Traeger. There's the size of the standout down low. NC State not in good rhythm right now. A turnover with 33 seconds left in the quarter.
I think this zone's got them sort of rattled a little bit, and they're rushing. They just need to settle in, make good passes here. Now this is NC State on defense here. Great pass there. Johns was able to finish and get Traeger on her back, but on the next one, Traeger was right there and was able to get a quick block.
Megan Gebbia said, we spent all week working on post-entry passes. It pays off in the final 30 seconds. There's Grace Galbavy in the game. Nice dish to Carter, and these post entries are paying off.
That was over the top. They had a little bit of a mismatch with Quigley, at least a height mismatch, and they were able to get the high-low pass there.
Zoe Brooks in control with 5. On a switch, crossover. Brooks doing everything with a dribble, and hits it to in the corner. Zoe Brooks gives the Pack a 3-point lead.
Zoe Brooks is an end-of-quarter specialist. She's done it all year long right there. She had the hesitation dribble. Excellent finish. NC State's got the 3-point lead. Wake Forest has looked really good, though, on those high-low passes. Carter with the great finish there, and we know how good they pass. But for Zoe, it was this last second. The hesitation right there. She gets the defender up out of her position. Finishing great. NC State by 3.
Raleigh. 3-point game through 10 minutes. Wake Forest has handled the initial surge of NC State, and the Wolfpack are living in the paint in their final home game so far.
And NC State, we said earlier, they can't settle. They've got to get it inside, but on the other hand, they've got to get some outside shots are going to go too. Zam Jones, 0.0 assist after coming off an 8-assist game against Syracuse. She's got to find a way to get involved. She's on the bench now, but she's a key to this Wolfpack team.
Grace Galbavy, who hit 4 threes in the first matchup in Winston-Salem. She was impressive, held in check now. Kaishi Lunin checks in for the Pack. Active hands and forces a miss. Lunin could be a difference maker off the bench for the Wolfpack this year. In a lot of the ways Brooks was 2 years ago for a deep team that made a late postseason run. Lunin's jumper here a bit short. Traeger on the jump ball. What is the key for these underclassmen to come in and make a difference?
I think the key is to come in, to play hard, to try and limit your mistakes, and then the scoring, the points will come. Lunen's great with the spot up 3, great with the drive there. She happened to come up short, but she's an electric scorer when she really gets in a rhythm.
Not every freshman's Hannah Hidalgo, and Brooks off the bat. Nice vision there.
Very crafty veteran move there against the zone. Wake Forest had their back to her, and she's like, anytime she sees the back of somebody, she's just going to tap it off their back for a layup.
An old school move from the savvy junior.
She is the leader on this team, even as a junior.
Good pace position for Mary Carter with a quick bucket. It's like the 5th time this year Zoe Brooks has pulled off that move.
And you know coaches have seen it on film, but the players get surprised by it still. Another turnover against the zone.
Oh, absolutely. A defense that was lit up in the first matchup. It gave up 93. And a steal here for Brooks. Zoe 1-on-4. Oh, Brooks. No good. Traeger's rebound back in.
Good job by NC State running the floor, getting in transition. Wake Forest not in a position to box out, gave up the rebound.
Back slip, Sorby. Ooh, that just rolled out. Good look. All this cutting and screening, it's putting State in some compromised positions.
It's difficult to defend because of the 5-out, because of the spread.
A rare zone defense this late in the year. Good recovery and a steal. That was Kennedy Moore who just checked in, the freshman. Carter, another young shooter, is off on the three. The Cal Poly transfer.
Wake Forest, such a good three-point shooting team. You keep giving them those looks, they're going to get hot.
Sorby is staring into the soul of that basketball, wants a steal. And Wake's been active on this end. Quigley with 10. Into Johns. Nice window look right there.
Nice job penetrating, getting into the zone. Wake Forest did not cut her off, and Devin was able to get all the way for the layup.
Active hands, Zoe Brooks picks the pocket, takes another.
Great awareness, another savvy move by Zoe. Pushing the lead to 9 for the Pack.
Wake coach Megan Jebby, you could see that from a mile away. She was calling a play and then went, oh boy, and the steal started everything in transition. Coach Jebby noted, how do we handle the waves, the scoring surges that the state can put you in? Sorby into a double. Nice ball movement. Johns three. There it is. That's how you find an answer.
The veteran Johns with a big shot right there. Not rattled by this crowd. She's been in a lot of games in her career.
128 of them, in fact. More than anybody on the court right now. Traeger in the zone. Offensive board.
Missed shot there, but I love seeing NC State get into that high post. Breaks down the zone.
Here's Traeger. Test the double. Quigley left alone. And you challenge her to make those threes. Big bucket.
That's a big one. Her 10th three of the year for Quigley. She's a great shooter in practice. It hasn't translated to the game. If she can start making them, she could be a difference maker in the postseason for NC State.
And that's the Pack's first three of the game. Johns responds from three. Senior day again.
Emily Johns, she's only made 2 threes on the entire season. Hit 2 in the first half here. Catching NC State off guard.
If we've learned anything tonight, don't sleep on super seniors. Johns, the American transfer, following her coach, Megan Jebbia, doing things well. The young legs of Lunan dribble all over the paint. Quigley heaves, and she comes back with a three.
You could see it in the way she was dribbling. Having hit that first one, she's got the confidence now. We saw a game last year where she scored 20 when she got rolling. Could be her night.
Point party here in Raleigh. Oh, in the last 30 seconds. Backdoor slip. Galbavy finds Carter's three. Rain and triples. Boom, boom, boom.
Beautiful passing by Wake Forest. That's exactly what they do. The high-low, the kick out to three. Beautiful basketball.
Okay, who's ready for a three right here? Brooks' turn. Inside, Traeger blocked and a foul. Free throws for the Pack right here.
NC State right here. Wake Forest on offense. Emily Johns with the big three, her second of the game. And then with the response, Devin Quigley. She had some space. She knocked it down. Confidence is huge for her. And with those two, you just feel like she could be having a good game tonight.
4 subs for Wake Forest, and Zoe Brooks checks out for the Pack. In comes Maddie Cox, the junior forward. Madison Jordan, the Raleigh native, re-enters for Wake. She was electric in the last matchup here in Raleigh, hit 15.
She hit 4 threes a couple years ago. Number 67 recruit out of high school. Played at Panther Creek, their all-time leading scorer right here in Morrisville, North Carolina, just outside of Raleigh.
And a lane violation on Wake Forest. That was Grace Galbavy coming in early, another freshman out of Pennsylvania.
And Krieger makes her pay right there.
Those are the points that make you hard to go to sleep at night sometimes as a coach. The Wake's battling here with 5 minutes left in the half, down just 8.
Wake Forest has to be pleased that they've still kept it a pretty tight ball game, even not shooting that great.
By the way, that was the first foul of the game, 15 minutes in. Tough pass for Brown, stays here. And immediate timeout. We'll step aside in an 8-point game. Wrapping up this first half when we come back. Back to the ACC tournament. Big step after missing it a year ago. And for this Wake program, doubling their wins total in the league a year ago. They're down 8 in the second half, but battling tough through 20 minutes.
They really are. We talked to Coach Jebbia yesterday, and she really likes the core of this team. It's a young team, and they have really come on and improved from last year, as you said, back to the ACC tournament after missing it.
Led to 2 Patriot League championships at American. And you see the building blocks for Wake, but it's been a tough ride early on. Carter gets fouled. First Wolfpack foul tonight. And this nucleus all return next year for Wake. You see the assists early on. This is the strength of this Wake team.
Right, this Wake team, they're already up to the 4th most assists in school history. They started the night at 5, moving right on up that ladder. They pass the ball so well. We talked to Coach about what do they do, and they work on that high-low pass over and over, and it's really paying off for them.
They passed the ball about as well as NC State chews gum. There were like 8 packs of gum on that scorers table behind Westmore. Megan Jebby's team, not statistically a great assist team, but given the previous year, they've been really good at moving the ball.
Yes, and it's impressive the way they get their players into good positions to score.
That's this game to 6 is when you're 4 minutes till halftime. Who can slow down Zoe Brooks today, though? Lunan fades. An Isaiah James-esque shot here in Raleigh to miss.
That left-handed sweet jumper does remind you of Isaiah.
She's got good hands, too. A steal. It leads to a loose ball, and Carter recovers it. The clock did reset, so a chance for Wake to slow it down. Oliver 3. And a tip drill to Zam Jones.
NC State's done a good job of keeping Oliver down. She's got 4 points, but hasn't really been a factor.
And with NC State, it's pick your poison. 4 players with 6 or more. A lot of balance. Maddie Cox wants to join the party. Almost does. Rebound Pierre. No good.
That's a tough miss for her. That's right in her sweet spot. Just hit the back of the rim.
Wake got back in this game hitting 3s. This feels like a huge possession. Bird downstairs. A foul away from the ball. Illegal pick against Wake Forest. That was Mary Carter there.
Mary Carter off the ball trying to set a back screen, I believe. Just got caught moving.
Neither team in any bit of foul trouble. Just 3 fouls in the whole game for both squads.
Zam Jones still no shots.
Let's see if she hears you. Jones inside of Pierre. Nice pass.
She had no shots and no assists after 8 on Sunday. Great drive and dish right there. The more she can get involved, the better NC State's going to be.
And those 8 assists were timely, right? Get out to a big lead over Syracuse, play well in the 4th to put the game away.
And that one right there felt timely because Wake Forest keeps creeping closer.
Deacons are led by 12 from Carter. Here's Oliver underneath and is fouled on the way up. Grace Oliver was a problem at Boston College. She hasn't gotten going yet here in Reynolds.
I agree. Right there, Oliver was able to get the switch, get Zoe Brooks on her, and got her back to all the way underneath. Tried one of those reverse scoops, was able to draw the foul. She's really very good underneath when she gets it that deep.
Megan Jebby called Grace Oliver the perfect Wake Forest kid, right? If you're going to find an academic fit, want to find a player who wants to transfer in and be a part of the building blocks, really likes the growth from Grace this year.
My favorite quote from her is that when she went to Colorado, all the classes were online. She got to Wake Forest. She's like, we actually go to in-person class here. I love it. And it just shows sometimes academic fit is just as important as athletic fit. And she's found that at Wake.
A highly regarded academic school, no doubt. And in this Big 4 matchup, it's the pack up 7. Pierre, offensive, into the body of Opal Bird. And Pierre pleading her case.
I think that's a good call. The official on the sideline made the call. She lowered her shoulder, but I think Camille was looking at the baseline ref, expecting it to be a block.
Pierre guards Opal outside. Here's Carter on the one-on-one, blocked by Cox. NC State's had the answer in the paint for Wake, who wants to pound it inside.
Wake was hoping for a call there, but I think that was a good no call.
Jones spinning 100 miles an hour. That's no good. Pierre soars for the board and a reset.
Good patience.
Testing this zone defense. Lunan, no good. And Pierre comes out of nowhere for 5th board. That's why Camille's a walking double-double. Down to 10. Brooks against 2. Maddie Cox, corner 3. That's how you make a 3rd possession count.
The ball movement there by NC State was excellent. They stayed patient and finally got the wide open three. Big shot by Maddie Cox.
Wake nearing 4 straight minutes without a bucket from the field. This is a big possession down 10. Sorby, no real estate. 5 seconds. Double team. Nice window look. Wake Forest is so old school. I know Tim Duncan played there, of course, but all the tape they watch going off the glass.
They really are, and especially Grace Oliver. I love watching her when she gets the ball underneath. They needed a bucket desperately, so they got her to duck in and post, and she rewarded them with a basket.
Well, the old Gold's hanging around here, down 8. The Packer testing Wake's defense. Corner to corner, nice block, Carter. And Brown comes up with it. Maybe a 2 for 1. Brown outside. Sorby thinking 2. Hits the 3. That's good basketball.
Exactly, for Wake Forest. It's a huge 3 because not only that, they tried to get the 2 for 1, but they've cut it to 5, and they made it a game regardless of what NC State does here.
Megan Jebu's club has qualified for the ACC tournament. They're playing like their lives are on the line tonight. You love it. 5-point game. Brooks with 6. Tess Sorby. Zoe Brooks hangs. No good. And a Wake rebound to end this first quarter. Wolfpack controlled the game. The Wake gets back in it down the stretch.
Wake Forest has really controlled the pace of the game, kept the scoring low, hit big shots when they needed to, and I think they've surprised NC State a little bit. It's only a 5-point game going into half. Both coaches will make adjustments and see how we come out in the second half.
We got plenty to discuss in this final week of the regular season after this. Welcome back to Reynolds Coliseum halftime in this final week of the ACC regular season. Wake Forest hanging around. They made the tournament just a few days ago, and it's senior day in Raleigh, celebrating 5 senior managers. And they're all keep inside Reynolds with Derek Jordan, Evan Budrovich. A lot of balance for the Wolfpack, right? 4 in double figures, but Wake's passing has kept them in this game.
Wake Forest with 10 assists on 12 made baskets. We've seen how well they've shared the ball. And one of the things Coach Jebbia talked about was create more possessions. They've forced 9 turnovers from NC State and then make 3-point shots. They struggled early, but they made 4 out of 6 in that second quarter, and that's why they're in the game right now.
And let's touch on that Wake 3-point shooting because it came in a barrage to get them back in the game.
Right, it's a variety of ways. They've got dives to the basket, they've got nice post-ups, and then they've got kickouts to 3. So Wake Forest has been able to get a little bit of everything. Here's all their paint touches right now. Did a great job with their high-low passing to give Wake Forest 32 points. Meanwhile, for NC State, it's been about being opportunistic in transition, getting steals, getting layups. Zoe Brooks has made some big shots, both off of those steals and at the end of the quarter. And then Camille Pierre, we talked about it all night. She does it all, the rebounding, the scoring. She's been the difference. NC State with 9 offensive boards, 16 second chance points. A lot of those contributed to Camille, and that's what's given them the lead in this first half.
The double-double queen is inching closer to another, right? 2 points, 5 rebounds. Mary Carter, that big first half. Her 3 is important. In a game where NC State could have exploded late in the quarter, it's interesting these next 20 minutes because the Packer playing for a top 4. They got to start playing like it down the stretch.
Exactly. Wake Forest is playing a little free. They clinched the tournament. They know they're going to be in postseason play, and they're playing with some confidence right now. And NC State, I think, tried to give them a big shot early, take a big lead, but Wake Forest has hung around, and the formula for the upset, stick around into the fourth quarter, then a couple of big threes turn the tide.
Wolfpack have dominated this series, winning 12 straight. Rebecca Jebbia noted what a big relief to get into the tournament. Her team's playing some good ball down the stretch.
And they've got another carrot out there. They're 14-14 right now. If they could be at 500, split these last 2 games and win a game in the conference tournament, they're in a position to go to the WNIT and get some postseason play for this young team.
4 freshmen in the major minutes. No Caitlin Jones tonight. Out as a scratch, but available Sunday. Opening possession of the half. Opal Bird on top of it.
Bird had 10 in the last game. She's been very tentative tonight.
Good hands from Samuels, who stares into the grill of Oliver.
Caden's only played 5 minutes in that first half. No foul trouble, but her defense could be the difference here in the second half.
Shot clock to 4. Carter outside. Sorby fakes. Sorby with 2. It's blocked by Samuel.
Great job right there. On cue with the big block, the big stop for NC State.
Westmore this week challenges team have to play better defensively in third quarters. They were exposed against Syracuse in the third. So Pierre goes inside. A quick miss, a rebound, and a lot of contact with Opal Bird and Camille Pierre.
Camille was trying to get a frustration foul and didn't get the call. Got away with the little push.
An all ACC call, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Here's Milan Brown. Carter was big in the first quarter, quiet in the second. Sorby was 6. Aurora showing her patience, and it's kicked off of Wake Forest. Another turnover.
Matchups are really difficult for NC State in this game because all 5 of Wake Forest players sort of have similar skill sets. But you saw Samuels there on Carter. A little bit of a height mismatch for Samuels, but she's so athletic. She's shutting down Carter so far in the first couple of possessions.
Neither team has scored out of the half. That continues. Samuels' big rebound. And a foul. The effort of Caden Samuels impactful here at 90 seconds in.
Sometimes NC State needs an energy boost, somebody to really step up and take control when there's a lag in the game. Samuels has done that time and again this season, and you're seeing it tonight in this third quarter.
As we get closer to March Madness, you need big post players, second-level players, bench guys to step up. Well, Samuels could be that difference maker. She came off the bench early in the league, has now been a starter down the stretch. As that jumper short for Brooks. It's the energy the Wolfpack are begging for, teams that have made Sweet 16, Final 4 runs. They've had key role players. And hands from Pierre that time, another Wake giveaway.
Sometimes it just feels like body language. I watched NC State play Duke, and they cut it from 20 all the way down to 6. But they weren't even that excited about it. I want to see somebody get fired up, and that's what you get out of Caden Samuels and Zam Jones. When they get fired up, I think the team feeds off of it.
Jones inside. Good hands from Carter. Bird on the floor. Oliver just throws it away. With Madison Jordan just checked in. Brown into Bird. Back to Jordan. Corner 3. Air ball. This home student section reminds them of the final home game this year for the Pack. Traeger, nice paint touch. First points of the half.
Excellent high-low pass by Pierre, driving hard. Traeger having her hands ready for the finish.
4 different players with 8 or more points for the Pack. That is a balanced lineup. And this time of year, you want to find ways to get scoring all up and down the court. Oliver, a good paint position, and earns a foul on the Pack.
That's not a foul that would bother me as a coach. Traeger trying to get the steal there, trying to help. Unfortunate, though, for her. There you go. She did make contact, but she's trying to get the deflection. And it's not a shooting foul, so.
And only the first on Traeger. The whole Pack team has just 4 fouls in the game. Ooh, almost a foul. And Brown will soar in for a layup.
It was a tough collision there for Jones. Sort of got hit, banged her neck a little bit off of somebody's leg.
It was the third quarter in Winston where the Pack exploded. They put up 30 in the quarter. Both teams just a couple of buckets out of the break. Jones the fake. Traeger's long jumper is in.
Another patient attack there by Jones for another assist. Great job, and another second chance basket for NC State. That's really been the difference in the game, up to 18 now.
12 for Carter, 12 for Traeger, the 2 stars in Raleigh. Here's Carter. Oliver, good position. Can Wake find her? And Pierre jumps in front. A foul on the Pack. They're second of the quarter.
I think we saw a little bit of a push in the back there by Pierre. Tough call, though, because both players are trying to be aggressive. Here you'll see that right arm trying to push, and based on where the referee was looking, you could see why the call was made.
Megan Jebbia noted, we spent a whole day in practice on post entry. It's been a big emphasis in this game. Avoiding turnovers, finding post players, even earned a couple of fouls, too. We see Carter with good position, but that pass is heavy. So it's one thing to work on it, Derek, but the Pack have made it tough with their defense.
Right, NC State's very athletic. They've got good size, so sometimes even when you're a great passer, if there's no angle, there's no angle. But whenever they've had a chance, they have gotten some good passes in.
Zoe Brooks off on that three. Early in the game, it was Wake's passing that dazzled. 9 assists on 10 baskets. Can they tap into that here in the third? But a travel gives it back.
Both teams really sort of stagnating here in this quarter. Just 4-2 so far. We're almost halfway through it.
It's crossover season, so that's a baseball score early in this third quarter.
NC State needs to get some runners in scoring position, and then they can knock them home.
I'm a big push bunt guy. Drag bunt.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Bunt's going.
Put pressure on the defense. I love the bunt.
This zone is making things tough for the Pack in this third quarter. Samuels enters the zone. Misses that jumper. Jordan the rebound. And now Sorby pushing it. Oliver's fighting for her life in the paint. Nice turn. Oliver right there inside.
Coach Moore is arguing for 3 seconds in the lane. Oliver was camped down there. Cadence was working hard, but couldn't get her rooted out.
Colorado transfers playing tough in the paint. Brooks' three is in. The Pack come right back.
Zoe Brooks hit 2 big threes against Syracuse in the last game. Hits another big one here. She's only good steal.
A block and a foul against Mary Carter. And some frustration from Wake Forest.
Zoe Brooks with the big three. She's only 24% for the year. She's only hit 13 going into this game. But again, 2 big ones in the last game, a big one here. If she can add that to her game, it changes the way everybody's going to defend her.
Here's Jones with a three. Rebound Traeger. Jones earns a foul on Madison Jordan. That'll lead us to a media. 8-point lead for the Pack as both teams trading punches here in this third quarter. Project right now. Duke with just the 1 loss. They'd be the top seed, and that race for fourth's in the Pack's favor, but it's so tight right now, Derek. That double bye is crucial in winning this conference.
And NC State, because they've got the tiebreaker beating Syracuse and beating Virginia, they sit in that 4 slot, but the pressure is on them to take care of business in these last 2 games in order to secure that spot.
Because if games are unfolding tonight, Louisville takes care of business. There's still a game back at Duke. That Notre Dame-Syracuse score adds a little bit of complication to the bracket.
It really does. It could take Syracuse down. In the North Carolina game, from NC State's perspective, if North Carolina wins, it takes NC State out of the race for 3, and they can only get up to 4.
So an 8-point game midway through the third quarter. Both teams trading buckets at a halftime. And a stagnant offensive 5 minutes. Here's Zoe Brooks bringing the offense to life.
Good job by Zoe Brooks, the veteran leader. Whenever the Pack needs a basket, they go to her.
How does this press change things?
I think it's going to rattle Wake Forest a little bit in this crowd.
Caden Samuels pulled her whole team, said, let's start pressing out of the timeout. We talked about emotion. Westmore wanted his seniors to step up. Well, he doesn't have any. So his junior, Caden Samuels, is playing that role. Clock to 7. Sorby. Hezzies. And it's tipped out of bounds. Turnover, Wake Forest.
Good job by NC State defense. Sometimes pressing just gets your juices going. NC State played a really hard defensive possession there.
And Wake had their best assist to turnover game Sunday. That's been flipped on the script today. The 13 turnovers have compiled in this third quarter. Jones has a mismatch. Gets into Jordan's body. And Bird, the late foul.
To touch on that last game, Wake Forest against BC. BC played a zone the whole time, so there wasn't a lot of ball pressure. There wasn't a lot of, it didn't take Wake Forest out of the rhythm. NC State, on their hand, is really pressuring the ball today, forcing a few more turnovers.
Emily Johns re-enters for Wake. And Mary Carter re-enters, giving Bird and Jordan a breather. The alter ego of Jones, since she got poked in the face, has stepped up her game here in ACC play.
It's like a Batman mash. She's really stepped up, and again, she's a catalyst for so much that NC State does, that you want to see the ball in her hands a lot more.
Has 4 big assists today, has taken on that point guard role at times, and has extended this lead to 11 for her Wolfpack. Milan Brown on this end. Would love to see the freshman get going. Just 4 points today. Here's Sorby. Pick and pop with Johns. Carter with 6. Oliver's got to go, and Traeger swats it. The sweetest swat down low.
Good job by Traeger fronting the post, and also good job by Brooks. That ball screen over there, she iced it, kept it on that side of the floor. Wake Forest couldn't do much with it.
Just 1.8 on the clock. Sorby. Prayer time. No good. And then Keynes bangs into Cox. Well, sometimes that physicality is a little too much. Out of play.
Unfortunate for NC State, because Wake Forest, their entire team had gotten back. It was 5 players for NC State underneath, and they just battled with each other. Just being aggressive, just unfortunate break. 2 players playing hard.
And a fresh 20 for the Deacons, who have just 4 points in the quarter. Where do you manufacture something here for Megan Jebbia?
I think Grace Oliver's been the go-to player over the last few games, so I would try and get her ducking into the post.
Carter goes in the post, no one there. Pass incomplete. And you sense Wake is forcing a lot of looks in this third quarter.
They are. They're pressing a little bit, and they don't have a lot of players that can just drive to the basket. They might need to get Milan Brown the ball, let her create a little bit more, because she's their best penetrator.
Zam Jones can certainly drive the ball. Finds Cox. NC State is breaking down this defense, but they're almost turning it over. Clock to 8. Jones into 2. Good defense by Johns, and Oliver's there. Milan Brown inside. Johns good position. Johns to the left. No good from the senior.
Wake did everything right there. The penetrate, the post pass. Couldn't get the finish.
Look at this passing. Everyone's touching it. And their superstar, Zoe Brooks, up to 15.
Games where NC State has struggled, it's become one-on-one, but today they are really spreading the ball around. And it's paying off. 13-point lead for NC State.
And Megan Jebbia calls a timeout. We'll take it. Closing 2 minutes is the Pack run, an 8-0 run. Welcome back to Raleigh. 13-point lead for the Pack as they start pulling away on this 8-0 run. The Wolfpack defense has been really good. You look at the home-road splits. Defensively, that's a great number. 60 a game. They're living up to it today. How does that translate as we take it in the month of March?
Well, NC State's going to have to take that on the road, because they're not going to be hosting unless a few things really fall into place. But the key, thinking about the first time they played Wake Forest, they gave up 77 points, only forced 11 turnovers. Today, they've already forced 14. It's really about intensity and fighting hard to try and get those turnovers.
And that was the MO for Westmore. Have to play better defense down the stretch with this matchup in the Pitt game on Sunday. A top 4 seed is well in their grasp. Milan Brown and Wake have gone 3 minutes without a bucket. Oliver changes that right there.
Coming out of the timeout, get it right to Oliver. Let her go to work. She's their best player. She's the one that's a tough matchup for NC State. So good coaching by the Wake Forest staff.
Zoe Brooks starting to take over in this third quarter. Bad pass that time. Here's Sorby. Heaves a 3. Ooh, that almost went in. This game gets a little interesting.
She's had a couple like that today. It's been tough for her.
1 of 4 from deep, and you're right, 2 that have rimmed out. Well, I can't really explain that pass. Neither can Westmore. Just threw his paper in the air.
He is grabbing his hair and pulling it out right there. That is tough. He is frustrated. Unforced error again. talking about NC State's defense, when they hold teams to 60 or under, they're 105-2 in their last 107 opportunities like that. So that is a key number for the Pack.
Here's Milan Brown. Wake's had a couple of chances here to inch back into the game, but missing jumpers.
Possible 2 for 1 here if NC State hurries.
Brooks goes for it. Well, she does the math just right.
Good job right there.
And West looks to his bench and said, hey, just let my shooters shoot, you know? No turnovers needed. Closing 30 of the third quarter. Galbavy just comes back in. Brown is not a three-point shooter by trade, but she's made 28 this year. So Johns calls bank.
Her third 3 of the game after only having 2 all year. Banking it from the top of the key. It's her night.
Not her senior night, but pretty close. That's Sunday in Winston, but you love it. Final week of her career. Closing 5 for Brooks. Zoe in at 2. Zips it. Jones 3. Is off. And a 10-point game through 30 minutes.
NC State with a 10-point lead, but Wake heading tough going into the fourth. Tonight, she only had 8 points at the half, but she had 9 in that third quarter, really hunting her shot a little bit. And there's times where you just feel like she's the best player on the court and nobody can stop her. So she has to be aggressive. And in that third quarter, when NC State felt a little stagnant the first 3 minutes, she's really stepped up her game for the Pack, giving them the 10-point lead going here into the fourth.
You start thinking about who's first team all conference in the ACC, right? Brooks was a big part of the trio last year for the Pack. Her assist making, her playmaking, her vision, it puts her in that conversation with voting this week.
Right, she's 3rd in free throws, 5th in assist to turnover ratio, 6th in scoring, 7 in assists. She is a top player in this league, and she would have my vote.
Those selections come out this weekend with the conference tournaments looming. The Pack are 10 minutes away from putting themselves in a great spot for a top 4 seed.
And Quigley coming off the bench, didn't play the third quarter, but she's feeling that confidence, her third 3 of the game.
Now some pressure out of the break. Johns goes through it. Galbavy inside. Milan Brown is doubled, has to throw it away. And then Oliver on the floor. Jump ball.
Really good recovery by NC State on that press. They sort of got beat, but they got back and trapped Milan Brown, forced the tough pass.
Possession arrow stays here with Wake.
Big possession here because
I want Grace Oliver in my foxhole. She is feisty, getting on the floor, battling for a Wake team. It hasn't a great year, but improving in conference play.
She will fight for you on every possession.
Big time transfer to Colorado, but Wake still down 13, but hanging around in this fourth quarter. Here's Brown. Backdoor. Nice pass, and that leads to free throws.
That pass right there reminded me of an NFL quarterback. The defensive back wasn't looking, so they threw it right over her head. Tremendous pass by Johns on the high-low. And just right by Camille's head. Not much of a bump there, but enough to throw her off, and I think that's why they got the call.
Last time this Reynolds crowd could go crazy in the fourth quarter for Chick-fil-A. Oliver is none of that business.
Oliver does not want to give up chicken. A little wry smile as she made it.
You see the Steam section disappointed. It's their final home game of the year. And Oliver nails both.
They don't want to wait all the way till November to get chicken. They need it tonight.
If Wake keeps this young core, they're a dangerous team next year.
I think this is a team that could move into the top half of the ACC if they stick together.
Here's Devin Quigley, part of the Pack's young core. Rebound Trieger. No seniors on Westmore's unit. They're leaning on Jones and Brooks to take over.
2 more second chance points there. It's been a big storyline tonight for NC State.
And what kind of team? There's not many clubs that go seniorless to the Final Four. It's going to take a special group for this club to get hot in March.
I think NC State, it's all about matchups. They've got to avoid some teams that they've struggled with, TCU-type teams that are just really big. But they have the potential, I think, to see a Sweet 16 Elite 8 level if the draw comes out in their favor.
Well, 3 in double figures tonight certainly helped. The balance of this club is tough to stop. The defense has played better in the fourth quarter. Quigley within 8 seconds. Gets the ball back. Wow, quickly range for three.
Her fourth triple. She only had 20 coming into the night. Actually, only 9 coming into the night at 21%, and she's already hit 4.
Well, add to the double figure scoring. Another one for the Pack. Johns and Trieger are wrestling in the paint. Galbavy, good back cut. Now finish that. Just short. You like to see a shooter lean into that shot, not fade away.
Especially when she had the advantage in height. She could have just gone straight up over Brooks.
Jones stripped by Galbavy. Good hands. Loose ball through the wickets of Johns.
Both players going after it there, and it just rolled right back between her legs.
So Mary Carter returns for Galbavy.
Really is a must stop for Wake Forest here. NC State starting to pull away just a little bit.
Carter had those 12 first and early second quarter points, but Wake's got to find a way to get her going.
Yeah, she's a great shooter if they can get her spotted up.
Here's Trieger. A little fadeaway from Trieger, adding a touch in year 2.
Felt like a Dirk Nowitzki shot right there. That was very skilled. Unstoppable to be 6'5" and make a fadeaway like that.
The Pack have a double-double machine in Pierre. They have a jump shooting Swedish specialist in Trieger, and then Brooks is a baller up top. That's a fun trio come March. The question is, can they get their defense going before the conference tournament? Johns for a J. That'll certainly help. Rebound Quigley. Brooks can't touch this. Yeah, double dribble.
NC State is an enigma a little bit. Some games they look great, some games they aren't. I can see them being a 6 or 7 seed and going all the way to the Elite 8. And I can also see them losing to an 11 seed. It just depends on how well they shoot that night, how hard they play. And I feel like Wes Moore, he's hoping that as we get closer to March, they're going to turn it on and keep this intensity. And we've seen it a lot tonight on defense.
Wes Moore asked this team, can we handle adversity, right? 2-game losing streak. They bounced back versus Syracuse. But even in that game, it was a good first quarter, bad third quarter. We're seeing elements of that where they've gotten out early, but haven't found a way to really put away Wake Forest tonight.
Well, and if you're a Wolfpack fan and you want an omen, 2 years ago they lost 2 on the road, and everybody said the sky was falling. Well, they came home, they beat Syracuse, they beat Wake, they finished 13-5 in the league and got a double bye. That is the exact same situation they're in right now. Who knows? Could be 2026 to the Final Four again.
You see that cream projection. They're on the verge of that top 6 seed, and here's a jumper for Pierre.
We talked a little bit off air. If they could win out and win the ACC tournament, is there a path to host in a top 4 seed? Maybe, depending on what happens in the rest of the country. But I think right now they peak at either a 5 or a 6 seed.
Oliver can't get the friendly bounce despite a great game.
Meanwhile, you could talk about Wake Forest. They want that postseason bid right there. Even if they don't get to 500, WNIT allows you in with an under 500 if your net's in the top 120, and they're at 122 right now, so they're right on the edge.
A win over Florida State would be big on Sunday, especially for senior day for Emily Johns. Here's Brown. Mary Carter has yet to take a shot in this second half, which is interesting given her great sharpshooting ability. Oliver backdoor. There's Opalberg. Nice ball movement late in the clock.
Excellent pass again, Wake Forest. We've talked about it all night, but they are so good with their vision.
The 3rd best year in terms of overall assists in Wake history. There's something cooking here with this Jebby offense.
And it's all about working hard in practice and letting it convert into the games. And so you give a lot of credit to their staff working on that high-low passing.
The Pack fine-tuning before March, and Trieger's found a jumper here in February.
2-3 zone, its weak point is right there at the high post, and if you can get a post there, you can make that shot. He breaks down the zone almost every time.
Immediate timeout will send this aside. Tilda Trieger on the verge of a double-double. The Pack are now up 18.
Got the DJ bumping, bass is funk. Tick, tick, tock, ticky, tick, tick, tock.
The road to Duluth gets complicated separated in the top 4 spots. You see the standings entering tonight. That battle for 4th, Derek, is wide open now. Syracuse, they're battling Notre Dame right now and trailing, but it presents a lot of opportunities for the Pack if they win these next 2.
For NC State, right now, Carolina's up 13 against Virginia starting the 4th quarter. If Carolina holds on to win that, NC State's ceiling is 4, but they also control their own destiny at that point. Win 2 and you're in. I think it's important to note that no team has ever won 4 games to win the ACC tournament in the women's game. There's been a couple of 5 seeds that won in the 80s, but that was before the conference expanded.
Which means double bye is huge. There's a nice jumper for Galbavy.
Double bye is everything right now in the ACC women's bracket.
Last year's tournament champ Duke, the prohibitive #1 seed, finally snapped their 17-game win streak last week on a buzzer beater at Clemson.
Big time win for the Tigers. That's a huge win for their NCAA tournament chances. It sort of solidifies them.
A block. Grace Oliver's had a nice game. May not result in a win, but impressive ending to her season. Here's Oliver in the lane. No one touches her, and then one. Grace Oliver just keeps cooking.
And when she was in Colorado, she played every game, started a couple games, but really only averaged 3 points, couple rebounds. But she has really found her home at Wake Forest. They spread the offense, let her duck in, sometimes the mismatch, and she's so crafty with that left-handed scoop. I'm so impressed watching her, seeing her on film, and then seeing her live. She's going to be a really good player for Wake Forest, and I think she's a kid, based on how much she loves the school, that's going to stay for 3 more years and sort of be a leader for this team and for Coach Gebbia.
League gets trimmed from 18 to 13 in the blink of an eye, but still a comfortable result. Here's Zoe Brooks for 3. And a nice rebound for Galbavy. Wake Forest showing some fight. They had a 9-game losing streak in the middle of the year, and Megan Gebbia said we lost no confidence. A couple of big leads lost at Clemson. Had a double-figure lead over Virginia in the second half.
2 overtime losses. Clemson and Virginia, we just talked about how good both of those teams are. They flipped those 2 games. Now they're talking about maybe even getting that top 9 single bye in the ACC tournament. So huge turnaround for the program for Coach Gebbia.
Brooks in the corner, hunting triples, but no good. And this Pack offense has gone quiet in the last 3 minutes. You're right, it's a lot of ebbs and flows. This Pack team plays like the top 5 team in the country and then bottom 5 in 5 minutes.
It really is interesting because sometimes it's just open shots you expect them to make and they just miss them.
Zoe Brooks gets a steal.
Their defense has stayed consistent, though, in this game particularly, and that's what allowed them to keep this comfortable lead.
Wake's yet to foul in the quarter. They're not playing the foul game, more the clock game at this point. Here's Zam Jones off on that jumper, and a rebound for Bird. Pierre did pick up the double-double a moment ago, so 19th of the year for Camille, 1 shy of the nation's best. Another no-look from Brown.
And there's Oliver again with the finish. NC State's caught a break that there's not much time left in this game, but it just feels like Wake's got the momentum all of a sudden.
Inside of 2 minutes. Wes Moore just searching for offense. 3 minutes where it's looked a little salty, not too sweet in the final moments.
Sometimes going against zone defense is tough. Taking a look at Wake Forest there. Great pass by Brown to Oliver. And you can just see how you can see this team building. And again, they might not get the win tonight, but I feel like in that season finale against Florida State and maybe in the tournament they get a win and they go to postseason play.
How about that dish? Zoe Brooks, oh, no good. It's the best of both worlds. Brown on the layup. Galbavy inside, and all of a sudden it's a 9-point game.
Single digits for sure. We'll see if Wake Forest decides to foul. They're going to pick up, extend their zone a little bit.
Well, with 5 fouls to give, you could be aggressive here in the last 90 seconds.
Even with a loss, this type of game will really help their net ranking, get them into that top 120.
Jones kicks it. Brooks with 5. Trieger outside. No good. Rebound, Quigley, and a steal. Brown pushing it down 9. Final minute. Bird, patient. Bird. No whistle, no foul, out of bounds. NC State ball. And a lot of questions from the Wake bench. Where's the foul?
It looked like either a foul or a block there, but neither. It'll be NC State ball. Wake with full court press. Trying to change things up here last minute.
Kennedy Moore's checked in, the freshman looking to bring that pressure. Milan Brown playing with her shoes untied, but getting in the grill of Jones. Nice defense late, and a steal. Jones gets it back. Tough look. Pierre the board, no good. Third chance, no. And the scoring drought is now 4 minutes straight to end this game.
When Coach Moore looks at the film of this game, he'll be happy that there's a W next to it, but there's a lot of things to work on, particularly in this fourth quarter.
Double doubles for Trieger and Pierre. But looking for the closing touches on this final home game of the season. As this crowd begins to respond, celebrating a 4-year run. Clock to 7. Jones the crossover. Here's Quigley. And another miss. And Zoe Brooks puts the closing touches on a Wolfpack home win. 12-5 in the ACC and in prime position for a top 4.
Huge win, exactly what NC State needed. They played hard, they played good defense, held Wake under 60. A few things to improve offensively, but still NC State in a prime position to get that double bye and get themselves the best chance to win that ACC tournament.
Wake showed some fight late on a 9-point run, but here are the Wolfpack now, winners of 2 straight, and their defense won them this game.
Absolutely. NC State's defense was excellent tonight. Again, forcing Wake into a lot more turnovers than they've had in previous games, particularly the first matchup in Winston-Salem. So credit to NC State and their defense.
So we'll talk to Zoe Brooks here in a couple moments. One of those games where you look at the final box score and go, well, a win's a win, but to your point, you want to play well as March begins next week.
Right, you want to have that momentum, and I like the intensity that they had, but again, a little bit more execution.
Zoe's coming over as her team celebrates in the final home game here for NC State. Hey Zoe, what's going on?
Hey, what's up? I'm good. How are you?
Oh, good to see you. I'm curious about this game because it was a game of runs, right? Your team gets off start, Wake closes the game strong. What's it going to take to end this regular season on a good note?
Definitely got to stay locked in defensively. I think our defense leads to offense, and obviously we're a great scoring team. We can score 1 through 5. Anybody can be the leading scorer on any given night, so we just got to continue to play together.
I think in that third quarter at the beginning, the offense felt stagnant, and then you sort of took over. You scored 9 in that quarter. Did you feel like your team needed you to step up offensively?
Yeah, I feel like we had kind of a weird shooting night. Not the worst, but it wasn't the best, and I just had to take over that quarter. Third quarter is definitely the most important quarter in the game.
Final home game for you tonight, given how this game unfolds, playing in front of your home crowd. What does this mean to close out your home season?
I mean, the fans are great as always. They always are going to show up. We know when we come here, we're going to have a great crowd. So they're definitely a big reason why we're so good today.
And as Coach talked to you about the importance of these last 2 games, if you win them, you get that double bye. No team in ACC history has ever won 4 games at the ACC Women's Tournament, so getting that double bye is huge. And how did you feel coming out and getting the win tonight?
Well, Coach Moore, like you said, emphasized how big these next 2 games are to get the double bye, and we came out here and we handled business. It wasn't the prettiest, but we got it done.
He talked about a big chart that had all the scenarios. Did he show you that chart?
Say it again.
He had a big chart of all the scenarios. Westmore's a big numbers guy.
Yeah, he is. I mean,
my God.
You just got to do what he says.
Yeah. Thank you, Zoe, for the time.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, wrapping up a final home game and a win for Zoe Brooks. Her teammates are right there, ready to celebrate. And as Westmore noted, the numbers are playing right for the Pack. 1 win away from the top 4 spot.
And I think even with some of the tough losses this year, NC State is putting themselves in a position for March Gladness. That's what Coach Moore said, that February is the dog days, but March Gladness, he's looking forward to it, and some more big wins for the Pack.
Thanks for joining us all season long. Final home broadcast of the regular year. Derek Jordan, Evan Budrovich, Daniel Zofel producing, and Tim, our director, having a blast with those shots. We'll step aside from Raleigh, ending the regular season here in the ACC.
Meanwhile, let's get to some more highlights. And we had Wake Forest and NC State going head-to-head. This NC State team currently 4th in the standings. They control their own destiny to stay there and get that coveted double bye. And Zoe Brooks doing her part to get them off to an early start. And then, Liz, it's Devin Quigley.
Quigley had a great game for them. So did Zoe Brooks. She was 8 for 15 from the floor. Good job for her. Zam Jones did more of a facilitator role. I'd like to see her produce more consistently, but NC State able to get by in this one.
Speaking of facilitating, she gets that one to Camille Pierre, and then Kelly, they go back inside to Tilda Trieger.
Trieger, it can be such a weapon for them offensively. It's good to see them getting her involved.
And not just her, also Brooks. You see, watch her go to work, get the shot up, team high 17 points. NC State wins 65-56, the final there. And what you want to do is be in control of your own destiny, and that's the position, Liz, that NC State is in right now. They take care of business tonight, have one more game to close out the regular season. What do you think about where they are right now and how they're playing?
I think it's a testament to how much talent they have that they're in this position to clinch a double bye, and still it feels like night after night we're here like, dang, they could have played better. They just have that much talent, and it's frustrating to not always see it all come together, but you have Camille Pierre, you have Zam Jones, you have Zoe Brooks, Tilda Trieger, if she's going to pour in 16 on a night, if they could just all play well at the same time, I wouldn't want to match up with them in the tournament, but just so unpredictable. It's tough.
If NC State ends up, we'll see a 6th seed perhaps in the NCAA tournament, and you're a coach and you get that draw, you are throwing that paper at the wall. I mean, you are so mad. Like that would be really tough to get NC State because, like you said, Liz, they are so talented. They've got so many different options, and I like the last couple of games. Zoe Brooks to me has stood out. She's been very efficient. The games that she has struggled is when she goes 2 for 13 and she has some turnovers, but it feels like to me Zoe Brooks has turned a corner a little bit the last couple of games. The Syracuse game and tonight she's been fantastic.
She really has. She does one thing really well, and that's get to the free throw line. She's 2nd in the conference in most free throws. She is somebody that can really do a lot for this team, and Trieger has been really up and down this year, and I think with Pierre inside, they've been going inside to her. Trigger's not really found her spot, but the last 2 games, tonight a double-double, she's been able to get some more looks at the basket. She's shooting a little bit more from the perimeter. I'd like to see her more inside, but she wasn't in the last game.
And just think about this, too, because Westmore said this on our podcast last week. It's been a tough year in Raleigh. They're going to be the number 4 seed in the ACC tournament, most likely, if they win on Sunday and beat Pitt. So let's just keep that in perspective, what Westmore has done and what NC State's been able to do this year.
They're 19-9 right now, headed into today. Charlie Kareem had them as a 7 seed. We'll see where they finish things off after the ACC tournament.